down to 6 runners is the latest that I've been hearing over here in the newsy corner. Sam, give us the latest on that race. Who's left in it and some odds?
Yeah, we now have no representative from Mr. Hannon, which is surprising enough when we look at the race. I'll run through the odds of the runners. These are your best prices on today's date, and it's Thursday, so we'll run through them all. Venus de Milo is your favourite. 5-2 best price. That's currently with Betfred and Stan James and William Hill. You've then got Narin, that's best priced around the 9-2 mark with Boyle Sports. That's quite a standout as well, short as 3 in some places. Mango Diva, 9-2, and that's with Bet365, Coral and William Hill. We've also got Saltiano, which is 9-2, and that's across the board with everyone that's offering anti-post betting on the race. We've then got one I really like that I'll talk about later, and I know you've been a big fan of as well, Tom, Amazing Maria, and that's 8-1 with Bet365 and also with Betfred, and I think that's shortened a little bit in the week, possibly because of the withdrawal of a couple. And then you've got the one that's been withdrawn, which is still showing you some books there, and Eastern Bell, which is an interesting runner, and that's at 16-1 with Bet365. Quite a big price.
I mean, arguably the biggest factor here is to keep your eyes on the weather report, you know, with the likes of Amazing Maria and the French for the Aga Khan they're running as well. Both going to need the soft ground, which I think there's showers forecast. The first one I want to touch on, however, is Venus de Milo. Just a couple of lengths behind Thistlebird is strong form, so Venus de Milo's must be in with a chance.
It's the horse that I fancy for this race. And I think the second in the Irish Guineas last year, superb form. Second in the Yorkshire Oaks last year, excellent form.
To the Fugue.
To the Fugue, yeah. It looks made. Now the favourites out of the race. This looks right distance, right course. Everything looks right and for this horse.
And so that's it. That's all. That's simple as that. Venus de Milo.
Well,
because I find
I've had a look at this race, and I know you like Amazing Maria, and you've told me why, and we've sort of gone through it. Worries me that she's had one race this year and run abysmally. You know, I'm sure we're going to go through the other runners. But the Venus de Milo is a horse with the form for me.
But touching on your point, how you back, she's got seconditis as well. You said like,
so you're bringing it back onto it. But the form,
Venus de Milo. Go on, talk about Venus.
She's got very good form in the book. She has finished second in the Irish Oaks, Yorkshire Oaks. But like you touched on in the first race, I can't have a horse that's like seconditis.
Yeah,
which she does have.
You've got to talk about this race. It's a Group 1 race.
It is, yeah.
It's going to be a good race, some good fillies in there. So you're talking purely on the point of form. Mm-hmm. Then I totally agree with you. I dislike horses that have seconditis and come second and third, and you wonder if they don't really want to win. You wonder if they're genuine. I think this horse is genuine, and I think the form in the book is there for it to win the race.
So genuine, or has Venus de Milo genuinely got seconditis? Tweet us at BetRacingNation to give us your opinion on this race, whether you think Venus de Milo's likely to be the bridesmaid again. You think so, Miguel?
I think she will, but it is ground dependent. If the ground stayed lightning fast, she would be the most likely winner. She's got form under them conditions in Group 1 races. But if there is juice in the ground, then the French filly, Soumillon's coming over to ride it.
Let's talk about that one, Miguel.
Well, they've kept her in training for starters. Any Aga Khan filly that's kept in training as a 4-year-old, they generally think they're going to win a Group 1 pot. That's the reason they keep them, for the black type. She ran in a Group 1 last time out behind Spirit Gym and Noble Mission in really soft going, but it was more the trip that saw her.
So that was over the trip of?
Yeah, it was 1.5 miles. The Grand Prix de
too far. That's the race in France, isn't it?
That's the race in France.
Now,
yeah.
Noble Mission won that race.
But
no, he was second, wasn't he?
He got pipped at the line.
That's right.
But
how strong do you think the actual form is of that race?
It's Group 1 race against the Colts. Noble Mission's come out. Well, Noble Mission's beaten Telescope twice.
Won the Group 1 in Ireland.
A reformed character, Noble Mission.
Totally
also runner-up in Munich in a Group 1 over the weekend behind Lucky Lion, of course, subsequently runner-up to See the Moon. There is form there, Vince, I think.
And obviously they don't send that trainer, Alain de Rio Dupré, would not send a horse over just to make up the numbers. They've got such a big programme in France for these fillies.
That's a very fair point. I was just going to say, if I run you through some of the names that have won this race in the past, the Fuge, Midday, Halfway to Heaven, a Ouija board, these are really good horses. Do we feel that this is possibly a weak renewal when we look at the numbers in the race? Is it going to be...
It's a favourite race of mine, and I've backed the winner of this race many times, and we won a big prize we won the monthly prize in the
10 to follow.
In the 10 to follow, down to Midday. Now, it's a race that I love, and I haven't really got over enthusiastic about this because I think that once the favourite went out, the race was the gloss was taken.
And you think the favourite would have run well?
Yeah,
just run me through.
I suppose I was going to say, Vince. You had it with Midday. I suppose the race has been made harder for punters since you're not going to be able to see Sir Henry Cecil on the race car as a trainer. I think he's won 3 of the previous 5.
Sure.
He loved this race for a Group 1 filly. Sir Henry Cecil really was the man for the job for that. But John Gosden, he's I believe double-handed in this race. Also 2 wins in the last 5 renewals of this. What do you make of John Gosden's entries? Have they got a chance?
Well, they've got to have a chance.
What sort of chance?
Well, for a Group 1, it is a pretty weak Group 1. I fancy the French horse. She's not won a Group 1 yet, so I normally wouldn't back a horse as. But if you look at none of them have won a Group 1.
That's why I'm thinking the Venus de Milo with our 2 Group 1 places makes me think that
it's the closest thing to quality in your view in the field.
It's the closest thing to form that is worthy of winning this race.
Well, the one thing we can say about Mr. Gosden's runners is do not ignore the second string at your peril because it won it last year, 20-1 shot.
Oh, win silly, yeah.
Yes, so that's the one thing. I wouldn't be writing off Eastern Bell. Possibly looks a little exposed, even though it's only a 3-year-old, but distance winner.
What about Madam Chang? She ran a very good Oaks trial, didn't she? She ran a cracking Oaks
Heavens
trial.
Would need to
Didn't run
up.
any race at all in the Oaks. But
she would need the Heavens to
quietly
open up.
fancied at the time, though, wasn't it? It was quietly fancied at the time.
She was fancied for the Oaks.
And you're right. If this rain comes on the Saturday,
then she'd
come into
it. She would come into it. Yeah, of course. I mean, she won Group 2? She won earlier this season. Was it the Musidora?
Did she win the Musidora?
She won the Musidora.
Well, that's always good form, isn't it? That's always good form.
But it was on soft going, so it's really ground dependent.
Yeah, if it's lightning fast, it's got to be Venus de Milo, isn't it?
But if it rains,
and not Mango Diva, the stout filly, in with a chance there.
I've not had any luck with that horse.
Yeah, but when you ignore Stout and Moore, it can be costly.
Of course, a mighty combination, and could probably be thereabouts. But I think if it rains, Madam Chang would be one that I would look at, and if it stays lightning fast, then as I've said at the risk of repeating myself, I think Venus de Milo would be the one.
Okay, sorry, Sam, I want to get on to one because we've got to talk about this horse. I talked the legs off this horse when we had our Oaks preview, the Epsom Oaks preview, and the horse that I really put up there was Amazing Maria. I think it went off some 14s or 16-1 on the day. It might have even been slightly bigger, but this horse really was a cracker. It was streaking away twice at Goodwood, very impressively on softer surface. If that horse is for courses, they could say, but on softer surface, Amazing Maria would be the soft ground horse you'd fancy, is it, Sam?
You interrupted me to share the knowledge of the world that Amazing Maria is probably the winner of this. The only one that's not won at the distance in the field, but I think you have to just put a line through the Oaks run. You have to just accept it for what it was. Far too far in the horse's background. Back to a shorter trip. I really fancy the horse at the prices, and I just think you can still get 8-1, which seems big in a field that, frankly, there's plenty of unprovens and there's plenty of unknowns. I'd sooner be playing for something big. But watch the weather forecast. If it rains, guys at home, I really think this will shorten. I think you could see it going off 4-1.
And what do you make of the form of the Dunlop yard? Because it's one that really wasn't firing at all, and suddenly 1 or 2 have just dripped in, and this could be the start of something for Eddie Dunlop, who actually likes to get those runners going quite late, 'cause he's a bit of a globetrotter as well, isn't he? So
takes them here, there, and everywhere.
He tends to have late in the season. He tends to have winners, doesn't he?
The thing is, with the idea of he's not necessarily hit form, we can't have all these trainers in form at the same time because we've got all these brilliant big meetings, and there's no way they can all be winning at them. So I'll take that with a pinch of salt, and I think the horse potentially, as long as it's recovered from its Epsom exertions, and I think it was a trip into the unknown and far too far.
I don't think there were much exertions at Epsom. It's finished dead last, 26 lengths dead on firm ground, and it hasn't been seen since. Of course, there's going to be some worries. There's not a lot to go on, but many would think if the rain comes, that question mark will be answered.
And I would encourage everyone to watch that course victory back, because you were the one that showed it to myself, Tom. This was way back we're talking when we were thinking about anti-post for the Oaks. And it was a very impressive piece of work to win that race. It certainly wasn't done. And the horse had plenty left, I have no doubt. And I know it's a huge step up from what we know of the horse. But, you know, trainers won the race before, much like many of
Vince,
these.
You're
I'm thinking about Amazing Maria, and I'm thinking, do you think at the end of that race, now when you get to the Goodwood final half furlong, it's a little bit uphill, and they're really going for it. Do you think she's going to see out the trip?
I think over the 1 mile one, and I mean, this is really for you guys to discuss, but Amazing Maria is one I love, and the 1 mile one, stepping back in trip, on the breeding front, Master Craftsman, this is the distance. Yeah. The one mile, the extended mile up to 10 furlongs, this is the distance.
But I remember when Lush Lashes was scunged around at the back and got beat and should never have got beat. You know, but I think that the jockey, I think it was Manning, wasn't it? And he thought he was just going to go past them like they were standing still. And you have got that little bit of a rise at the end of Goodwood, and it sometimes finds horses out. I'm just wondering, you know, at the end of that race, who's going to be really going for it? Who's really going to be trying to win?
Just to sum up on the markets, I was just going to say, surprisingly enough, Amazing Maria is the third best backed horse in the race, which doesn't represent where she lies in the market.
Let's have those markets pinned down then. What can we have here Thursday night? What odds can we get on the Nassau?
You'll be getting on the favourite, which is the O'Brien runner, Venus de Milo, 5-2 with William Hill, 5-2 with Betfred, and 5-2 with Stan James. Narina, if you really want to go French, 9-2 with Boyle Sports. That look a fair price to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Mango Diva, not one for me, but 9-2 with Bet365, William Hill, as well as Coral as well. And then you've got John Gosden's first string at 9-2. That's across the board. Amazing Maria is 8-1 with Bet365, Stan James, Betfred, Boyle Sports, and then you've got the outsider of them all, which is John Gosden's Eastern Bell, 16-1 with Bet365 and with William Hill. That could look a silly price. I'm coming away a little bit from Amazing Maria, Tom.
Well, 16. Well, okay, you took yourself round because he's had a look at the odds. You know, what can you make of that? But William Buick steps off Eastern Bell, and pretty much that. I think that says it all, guys.
I mean, what piece of form?
Go on, Vince.
Sorry, what piece of form would make you think that Eastern Bell had a chance in this race?
Nothing other than the fact that the trainer's second string has won this before. I think this could be a real cut-up of a race, especially if the weather changes. I think with races like this, you want to look for a different angle, and I go for something completely offbeat. I can't have faith in the favourite.
I can't see many people backing Eastern Bell. Those at home, if you are backing Eastern Bell, let us know. But Vince, let's get a selection from you. We've got to wrap this up now.
Yeah, favourite Venus Milo. I really think
big bet, small bet.
Yeah, reasonable size bet.
A reasonable size bet for Venus de Milo from Vince. Miguel?
What is a poor Group 1, really? I'd say Narnine, as long as the ground's not running like a road like it is now. A bit of juice gets in the ground. I'd go for the French horse.
Okay, the French horse, the Aga Khan. Keep your eyes on that one. And obviously weather dependent, I suppose. But Sam, where are you going?
If it rains, Amazing Maria. If not, I'm going to go for a small each way on Eastern Bell, just for a bit of an entertainment bet. I can't say it's going to be a huge race for me to punt him.
Okay, well, I mean, Vince, I think you're right. If the ground still remains a road, Venus de Milo does seem the best bet. However, if that rain falls, and that was the rain that I was waiting for in the Oaks, and I've been waiting for the reappearance of Amazing Maria for some time now. Big odds, and they're getting shorter all the time. Amazing Maria is definitely the one to be on in the Nassau. Thanks, guys, for coming. We've got to wrap it up here, but all the best for Friday and Saturday.
Let's have some winners.
Have some winners. All the best for you at home. Hopefully some winners for you at home. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on Saturday.